Hey Fragrance family, I'm David.
I'm Care,
and we're the Fragrance Bros.
Bros.
Coming at you this time with the first review in our Subscriber's Choice reviews. And we're starting it off with the famous Dior Homme Intense.
Yes, by
Dior! Alright, let's get straight to it. Date introduced is 2011. Now this is the reformulated version.
Yes.
Obviously the old version came out another time, but we're not reviewing that one, so.
Yeah.
Classified as a woody floral musk. Notes are iris, lavender, ambrette, pear, vetiver, and cedar.
No cocoa.
No cocoa. They had cocoa. Actually, I'm not even sure if they had cocoa in the last one. I know they had amber and vanilla in the last one.
Maybe I should cacao.
Man, screw that. Just call it cocoa.
Yes, cocoa. All right.
Now, what'd you get out of longevity out of this?
You know, I don't want to make too many comparisons to the reformulated version. I get excellent longevity from this fragrance.
Yeah.
When I wore the original one, I got a little bit longer. It really was stronger, but still excellent longevity out of this fragrance.
Yeah, I'd agree. I get excellent longevity as well. Sometimes I would say that it's borderline beast mode.
Yeah, dude.
And so it lasts a long time.
It does. It does.
What about projection?
It's tricky to me because like around me, I feel like it is just like rocking, and I feel like if I get like maybe this close to somebody, they would really smell it. But I don't feel like it really gets far away from me, and I haven't got many notices. So I feel like I'm gonna say average to excellent.
Okay.
It's hard for me to gauge that one for some reason. What about you? What is how you say?
I'm gonna say excellent.
Really? There it is.
With a stamp on it.
All right.
I'm just gonna say excellent just because I do feel like it. Like I know what you're saying, because I do think that it does really push out a ways. But I have gotten notices for people just in the room, and they say, "Oh, you smell good," you know, etc.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. All right.
Season, I would say this is best for fall and winter and night mostly, but I think during those times, I think you could probably wear it during the day as well. But I would say it's probably best as a night scent.
Yeah.
Especially because they have Dior Homme and Dior Homme Intense. They're kind of, we'll talk about it later, but they're kind of similar.
Yeah.
So you can wear one at one point and the other at another point, almost the same time.
Yeah.
Same period.
Sure.
Purpose, I would say this is a tough one to classify. I would say this is really good formal, and I want to say maybe date.
Yeah.
I don't want to just stamp it as a date like everyone else says because of things that we'll get to when it reminds us of, because I think this is kind of feminine.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I don't know if that's always a good thing to wear on a date.
Yeah. You know, like, I want to talk about this confidence thing when we get to that part.
Yeah, totally.
But for right now, I think, you know, I really like this fragrance, but I find it hard to pick the application for it.
Yeah.
Because like everyday office, it's kind of a bit above that.
Yeah.
But then formal, it fits formal. But sometimes if you're in a formal setting, do you want to send this message?
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
To me, it's tough to pick I wear it in the office because I don't give a crap. But if we're trying to give advice to people, I think it's tough to pick, tough to peg.
Yeah.
You're welcome for the ambiguous. I don't know.
You could have just said, I don't know.
I should have. Sorry.
What does this remind you of?
Well, you know, it reminds me of when I'm wearing this, I get, I know there's no cocoa or whatever in the notes, but I get that feel. And I also get the pear a lot. I get a lot of pear for some reason. The iris thing is kind of, I guess the lipsticky thing is iris. I don't know. I mean, I've smelled iris in different fragrances and it smelled different ways. Maybe it's a different part of the iris plant. I don't know. But it is thick and very powdery to me. And it does skew feminine.
Yeah.
So, you know, everyone and their mom has reviewed this.
Yeah.
And people like to go on ad nauseum about how reviewers have gone on ad nauseum reviewing this thing. It's just like this thing where you're like, you got to review DHI, but if you review DHI, then you freaking suck, you know, so whatever. Yeah. Like, we had to do it at some point, so here it is. But, you know, it has this status as like this panty dropping, sex in a, you know, bottle, clubbing thing. And for me, I don't get that. Now, I'm a 31-year-old man who's married with 2 kids. And I don't feel like it's very sexy.
Yeah. I
feel like it is, you know, kind of smooth and all that sort of thing, but my wife doesn't find it sexy.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. It's kind of a conundrum to me. I don't know. What are your thoughts on it?
Yeah. I'm going to jump it real quick and just say, I do think that it's sexy. I feel sexy whenever I wear it, but I agree that I don't know if other people think it's sexy.
Yeah.
I think it's just one of those things where it kind of gives me a boost.
Yeah.
But it doesn't really send the message that I'm feeling myself.
Yeah.
But this is an interesting story about this fragrance because we don't normally give each other gifts.
Right.
And this last Christmas, we independently thought, oh, I'm just going to give him a gift. And, on each one we wrote, you don't have to give me a gift back. We don't want it to be like one of those things.
Yeah.
And I gave him a saddleback belt.
Yeah, which is awesome. I wear it to work every day. It's awesome.
And then he gave me Dior Homme Intense, which I don't wear every day.
You shouldn't. That'd be weird. Be having sex with yourself every day.
Oh, yeah. So, and before you actually gave it to me, the only time I had actually, I'd never tried it.
Okay.
So I'd never worn it myself.
Wow.
And the only time that I'd smelled it was I smelled them side by side once when we got little vials of the old version and the new one to compare.
Right, from Jesse.
Yeah, from Jesse. And then you wore it one time, and that was it.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that I had to go by.
Yeah.
So I was used to Dior Homme, and spoilers if we ever do a Dior Homme thing.
Yeah.
I think that's a masterpiece, one of my favorite fragrances of all time.
Yeah.
It's a great one. And so I was thinking, what would it be like compared to Dior Homme?
Right.
And in a nutshell, I remember you said it was just a more intense version. And I'm like, whenever I smelled it, I'm like, well, it's a more intense version. It's
Yeah. They're pretty close.
They are close.
Yeah.
There are some differences. I think the key differences are that Dior Homme to me feels like a fuller, more put together fragrance. And it seems like there was more thought that went into that.
Yeah.
Personally.
Yeah.
And whenever I smell Dior Homme Intense, it seems like it's lacking a little bit that Dior Homme had. And I mean, it is lacking a few notes.
Yeah.
So there is some of that complexity that's not in Dior Homme Intense. But at the same time, Dior Homme Intense is, it's denser.
Yeah.
It's a little bit, it's punchier.
Yeah.
It's not as, whenever I wear Dior Homme, it has, I've been using this term for like the last 5 reviews, but it has this luminous quality to it. But it really does. It has this, like this lightness to it, in both the way it feels and what it conjures in my mind is like a light.
Yeah.
Dior Homme Intense is not that way to me. I don't get like that same connection.
Yeah.
But it's still very good. Now, what I definitely get out of this is I definitely get the iris, but it's like that iris butter, like some people call it orris.
Okay.
And some of the fragrances that we smelled, I think, were the iris flowers. It had more of a green, plasticky smell to it, where this has more of a soft, powdery feel to it.
Yeah.
And so I get the iris right away. I mean, that's the main player. And then the ambrette to me is really what I smell second most, followed by lavender and pear a little bit, and then in the very backbone, just a little bit, is that cedar vetiver combo, which it's not vetivery and it's not cedary.
Yeah.
It's just that there's some kind of molecule they use in a lot of these fragrances that is a vetiver cedar combo, that it just has like that cologne smell.
Yeah.
And they add that in this. To me, this is completely linear too. Like I don't get any change on this at all, which I don't mind that. But it's just another thing that, like on Dior Homme, I didn't think it was that linear. I think it changed a little bit, which is what I like.
Yeah.
So this is more linear, and this is marketed towards men. But like we said, this is probably the most feminine fragrance that I have. And I think that personally, if a woman wore this, no one would know that she's wearing a man's fragrance.
Yeah.
Because it smells, to me, I mean, it's really pushing the board. I think it pushes the boundaries more than Dior Homme. To me, Dior Homme smells masculine.
Yeah.
In that modern way.
Yeah.
And then, which I mean, it does push a little bit, but not as much as this.
I think the poster boy or the marketing person for Dior Homme, and maybe for Intense too, I don't know, is Jude Law.
Yeah.
And they've got this ad where it's him wearing like a white shirt and I think like a black tie. And he's kind of looking handsome, whatever. But like that to me really personifies Dior Homme.
Right.
To me, that's the more formal of the two, and I can see that working in an office setting more. There's something about when they make it the Intense version and they kind of make it more dense and all that sort of thing, that it makes it a little less formal to me.
Yeah.
And a little bit harder to wear.
Yeah.
I think that it's masculine in the, like you said, the modern sense, and by modern I mean more metrosexual. You know what I mean? Where you know what I mean, in the modern day, a lot of guys are more concerned with their grooming and, you know, the manscaping, all that sort of thing. And to me, it's masculine in that way.
Okay.
I don't think it's masculine in the traditional masculine sense of bearded and rugged.
Right.
Because I don't think it does that at all.
Yeah.
But that's okay. Like that's a fine masculine.
Yeah.
Sometimes I like going that masculine. Sometimes I don't.
It's more New York City and not Colorado.
Yeah. It's not Mobile, Alabama.
That's right.
But I like wearing it though. But you know, it's good, and I don't know. This is a really good fragrance.
Yeah, I like it a lot.
That's how I end what I'm saying when I don't know what to say next. You'll notice that.
But I think another thing too is I think even though it does smell feminine on me, I do kind of get that sexiness about it, which is kind of funny.
Yeah.
You know, whenever we talk about Dior Homme Intense, it's impossible not to talk about the reformulations.
Right.
Or I should say the reformulation that has happened and then in 2011.
Yeah.
A lot of people have, you know, thought about getting, you know, whether they should get the vintage version for like $300 and up, or the new version, and what's the difference, is one better than the other.
Yeah.
And we've tried them, and you know, ultimately there's minor differences.
Yeah.
But there's so much alike. I would never spend $300 on an old version just to get almost the same thing.
I wouldn't spend more. I wouldn't, unless it was like $20 more. I wouldn't pay more for the older one.
Yeah.
Because I mean, no one knows. Like you gotta have them side by side to be smelling them. You think about the application. Like I can smell it on you right now. You got it on one hand, right, somewhere.
Yeah.
I can smell as you move. I can catch a whiff of it. And side note, it smells sophisticated on you.
Yeah.
It doesn't smell feminine, as I smell it in the air on you.
Okay.
But anyway, but I can't tell I can't smell it. Is that the reformulated one?
Right.
That's the reformulated one. Like no one knows. And I guess it depends upon how much of a serious collector you are and how much you value your dollars. You know, for me, I would never spend that much.
Yeah.
Never.
I think also we need to talk about the hype with this.
Okay.
Because I kind of think that, you know, you would think that from all the reviews that this was made by wizards and it's going to save the world.
Unicorn tears.
Yeah, that's right. So you would think that it's the end-all be-all fragrance that, you know, if you could only have one, what would you get? Dior Homme Intense.
Yeah.
You know, that's the commercial.
Yeah. I mean.
No, me neither.
Whenever you spray it, the Halo theme plays in the background. All the viewers going to think of that.
That's right. And I think, you know, ultimately, it's a great fragrance.
Yeah.
It's not my favorite fragrance in the world.
Yeah.
So, but I think we should bring it down a peg into the realistic world.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
It's not maybe it's not epic.
Yeah.
But it's certainly fantastic.
Yeah.
You know.
Absolutely. There's not much else that does what the Dior Homme Intense family does.
Right.
You know what I mean? There's some other stuff that's kind of in the same ballpark. Baude Argent is kind of in the same.
Yeah.
You know, D600 kind of the same, but they're pretty unique.
Yeah.
And I would want it in my collection.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know if it'd be in my top 10.
Right.
Or top 20, but it's you know, I want it in my collection though, just because I like having you know, a very varied repertoire. Whatever.
All right. Let's see. Bang for buck on Fragrance Net. This is about $100 or 107. Have to go look, but around the $100 mark.
Yeah.
For 100 ml. Fragrance Net doesn't always have it in stock.
Right.
So I've seen it upwards of $130 different places. So it varies.
Yeah. I think I got mine from Strawberry Net for 95.
Okay.
97.
Okay.
$100.
Yeah, around.
You're gonna pay C-note for this thing.
Yeah, right. Ultimately, I say that it is worth it. It's a great fragrance. For me, I don't know if I would want to have both Dior Homme and Dior Homme Intense. I think that ultimately I prefer Dior Homme. I'm going to always keep Dior Homme Intense since you gave it to me as a gift.
Right.
It's always going to be something I'm going to have. I'm never going to give it away or sell it.
Yeah.
But
Gonna sell it next, secretly, like 2 weeks from now.
$100.
Take your belt back.
That's right.
No.
But I think it is worth it.
Yeah.
And the projection longevity is there. It's solid.
Yeah.
So definitely worth it. Especially it's kind of hard to find too.
Yeah.
Even on Dior Homme's website, it's not there.
Right.
On their website, which I have no clue why, but
yeah, and you can call their boutiques and may or may not have it in stock. It's really elusive. I don't really understand what's going on with it. I don't know why it's hard to find.
Yeah.
Like,
bizarre.
You can get Dior Homme any day of the week.
This has got to be their best seller, I would think, from all the hype.
I guess so. I don't know, man. Crazy.
I don't know.
Bonkers.
Now what about compliments?
No, I've never gotten a compliment, and I've worn this numerous times. My wife thinks it's okay sometimes, and sometimes too powdery.
Yeah.
So she prefers the more masculine stuff most of the time, so this is not really in her bag. And I've never gotten a notice from other people or a mention, a compliment.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it smells great.
Yeah.
I don't know.
My wife likes this a lot.
Yeah.
Whenever I wear it, she really likes it. But she says it smells like cocoa butter.
Cocoa butter?
And she doesn't like cocoa butter.
Okay.
I can kind of see that. I mean, it's not like a direct comparison, but it does kind of have that cocoa butter feel to it. Cocoa butter doesn't smell like cocoa.
It is kind of buttery.
Yeah, it is buttery.
Yeah.
So I can kind of see what she's saying there.
Yeah.
Other than that, I have gotten mentions. People have asked me what I'm wearing.
Yeah.
But I've never gotten any compliments.
Yeah.
So this is not, I don't think this is the compliment getter that some people think or say it is.
Yeah. It may depend upon the circles you run in.
True.
You know what I mean? Like, you and I are not young guys. I mean, we're young, but we're not the kind of guys that are going to clubs and dealing with the club rat kind of girls. Like, that's just not, hood rat, the chicken, whatever. Like, we don't deal with those kind of people.
That put an image in mind of Master Splinter. She's like,
Kind of bad.
dancing in the club looking like a rat.
That was a great face. But I don't think that, my guess is, at least in my experience, women in their 30s, or older in the workplace, who are a little more mature woman, may not appreciate this like younger women would.
Maybe,
at least my wife doesn't, and your wife doesn't seem to love it either,
Yeah.
So, I don't know. It may be one of those things where we're just past the prime of Dior Homme Intense or something, but
Yeah.
whatever.
Final rating.
I'm gonna give this a 4 out of 5. I think it smells fantastic, and I really like it. I have trouble finding an application sometimes.
Yeah.
And sometimes the performance, while impressive, is almost too much for me. Like, it's gonna if I'm spraying in the morning, I'm going to bed smelling like this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Sometimes that's not quite what I want. So there's some, having trouble finding the application and it being a little feminine, I'm gonna take a point away. But otherwise, I think it's really unique. It lasts a long time, and I don't think you're gonna smell like many other people. So that's a plus. I'm gonna get a 4.
Yep, I agree with all the points that you made, and I'm going to also go with a 4 out of 5.
Boom!
Have nothing else to add with that.
Right. Nailed it. Yeah.
So that's it. And YouTube, let us know what you think of Dior Homme Intense down in the comments down below. Do you like it, love it, hate it? What do you think about the hype with this? And of course, if you haven't already, please subscribe and like down below.
Yeah.
We'll love you for it. We'll see you next week with another Subscriber's Choice video review. We're the Fragrance Brothers. Bye.